welcome back to another episode of Small Town Big Biz. Today we are here with our guest, Kaitlin Carpenter from Third Day Market. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, of course, I know about you and Third Day Market, but tell the peoples who you are and what you do.
So we are a family-owned home and garden center up here where I've grown up my entire life. It's something we've done since I can remember, and then just recently, as of 2018, we opened up our store. So we have a greenhouse operating right now, and then we also do home decor and literally anything my dad thinks of.
Yes, really, for sure. So for backstory for anybody listening, I have worked with you guys for years. We just recently stopped working together.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, I love the relationship between you and your dad. I almost wish we could have just done the podcast with you and Dawn.
Oh yeah, that would have been totally... we're basically the same human,
yes,
with the same brain.
Yes.
But then we clash because we have the same brain.
Yes.
And we always have to be right, so it's really difficult.
It's the best. It's my favorite thing. I'm always I love when Kaitlin and Dawn start going at it a little bit, because it's what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
It's not really hateful. It's just trying to prove our own points.
Yeah, and it's banter back and forth because you're both pretty you don't get too serious
comical,
about
right,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's so good. I love it so much.
He's learning, though, that I'm really the one with the brains behind the operation.
Right. I love it. So he started, where did he start?
He started selling Christmas trees, of course, right after college, and then eventually came into pumpkins, and then that came into flowers, and then now we're doing sweet corn, and so he's just always done the farming side of it, the retail, and then also wholesale. And then when I came along and really showed interest in it, that's when we really started digging deep and doing the home and garden center.
Yeah. And Josh, your brother, works with you too?
Yes, Josh and Jeb, the dog.
Josh and Jeb. The dog has to be included because he's literally never 5 feet away from Josh.
I always say he's the overweight one with separation anxiety, and then there's the dog.
And he's a Weimaraner, right?
Yeah.
He's this overweight, I don't want to be away from my owner.
Yeah,
I am going to be here.
It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Okay, so in Third Day Market, tell me about how y'all have grown. So I know when you started, it was really you were managing pretty well everything, you and your dad. And so I'd love to hear how y'all have grown and who you've hired and that kind of thing.
So I have to think back. Back in 2018, when all of this really started happening, I kind of took the manager position, and then we had a small team with us who would help us as we first built the greenhouse. That was our first operational Third Day Market, was the greenhouse. And then we built the building onto it to do the home side of it. And so as we grew, we had to add team members to it, and it just grew and grew and grew until I realized I literally cannot do everything.
No, and you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's that.
Yeah. I mean, that's rough, having to manage. Not only do you have the 3 kids, but you also help teach dance.
Yeah.
And
I've really so I turned 30 last year, and I feel like I almost got slapped because I had my baby, my youngest, 3 days before I turned 30, and so
I didn't know it was that close.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah. So he's about to turn 1, and as I turned 30, and then time went on, and I didn't really think much of it. But then the more I thought about it, I was I forget where I was going with this.
You were you had to let go of some stuff.
Yeah. So I realized that I literally cannot be everywhere and give my everything to all of it, and then without crashing.
Yeah.
And so I had a couple episodes where I would try to be the best manager I could be, and then spend all my time here. But then I also had the trouble of mentally not being able to be with my kids.
Yeah.
I had to deal with that a lot, and so I had to let go of some of the control, which was difficult for me, being Dawn Smith's daughter.
Oh my gosh, I think this is what we need to talk about. I really do.
Yeah.
Because this has been something I've been telling you for years,
Yes,
like,
yes.
Kaitlin, you're going to have to let some stuff go.
Yeah.
And I think this is something everybody struggles with. It's
Yeah.
like, but this is my baby.
Right.
Like, yeah, you have 3 kids at home, but like your business is your baby.
Yeah.
Like it really
Yeah.
is. And it's all your ideas and it's all your like, you want to make sure it goes right,
Mm-hmm.
So what was like a breaking point, or what was like the point where you were like, okay, I know I have to like hand over some stuff. Was it when you had Smith?
It was when I had Smith, and then when all this happened with the virus going around, and like everything just felt so chaotic, and like I want to be the best mom I can be. Like I've realized that's like, of course, going to be my number one goal, and so I cannot try to control everything at work and be there all the time and like give all of my energy to this job and then go home and give them nothing. And so, like, that was the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to have to let someone else step up because they can, and it's going to be just as fun,
Yeah.
So that's definitely something 2020 did to me, was it made me realize that I can't do everything.
Right. It's good. It's bad and it's good all at the same time, right? Like, it sucks that 2020 happened, but
Oh my
like,
gosh.
if that is what you got out of it, maybe it was a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
And, you had a baby in a pandemic.
Yeah.
And like all of this stuff, you know?
Just balancing home life and work life is just
Yeah.
the hardest part of being a mother, I think.
It really is. And I tell people all the time, like, for me, I learned that I have to have like dedicated time.
Yes.
I can't be like trying to work with my kids around and trying to mom too.
Right.
Because then I'm mad at my kids because
Right.
they're like distracting me.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. I'm mad at the business because I'm not spending the time with my kids.
Exactly.
So I think it's like really like powerful for anybody who owns a business to figure out like, okay, here's what like my hours look like. And like, this is mom mode. This is dance teacher mode. This is like business mode,
Yeah.
So what really changed when you decided to do that? Or when you like were like, I can't do this?
I was much happier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Did you hire somebody new, or did you just like kind of restructure?
We
what was going on?
restructured internally, but then we added on to the positions to kind of help with the day-to-day tasks. So we had a big restructure within the business. Someone who's been with me since forever, I kind of like let her know that I appreciated what she did, and like moved her up to kind of do more of what I was doing, like overseeing everything. And she's done so awesome at that, and it's someone I can really trust. And so that really helped me to kind of step away from it, but then also like see that I don't have to be hands-on all the time in order to make it be successful.
Yeah, I think that's important too, to find somebody you trust.
Yes.
How do you feel like, do you feel like she just kind of fell in your lap, or did you know her before?
Yeah. Well, okay, so back to before Third Day even like came up, she would work for us roadside.
Okay.
And so she knows how we operate. And one thing too that I struggle with is when we have someone new come on, my dad's not like the warmest, cuddliest person. Like he's
No.
he's fun.
I love Don. It's so funny because when you say that, I'm like, no, yes, he is.
I know.
He's great.
And see, like once these girls and whoever works
When they
for
get
us,
to know him.
yeah, they're like, oh, he's so funny. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, but at first, like he can be very intimidating because he's not gonna like.
He's not going to take your crap.
No.
Like, he's not going to take
He's
your
a
crap.
very, very smart businessman.
Yes.
And so I've kind of had to transition too. Like he does the business side of it, but I'm going to like make sure our employees feel important and feel like they are making, strides within the business and helping us, and we really appreciate them.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big transition too, was just to kind of like work my words so that people, there's so many different personalities within the business. So like some people need more like words of affirmation, whereas others, you can just be like thumbs up and they're like, yeah,
Right.
So it's really, that's been a big move too, was to kind of like just learn how people feel appreciated.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Do you feel like, have you like really been intentional with that? Like,
Yes.
I'm going to make sure I'm doing this thing or whatever.
Yeah, at the end of last year, this was when all this was happening with me emotionally. And so I knew like, I really looked into myself, like what makes me feel important and what makes me feel like I've accomplished something at the end of the day. And it's, approval from everyone.
It's 'cause
Or not
you're
everyone,
three.
but Yeah, exactly. Yes,
You're an Enneagram 3.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you're like, I need approval and I
Right.
need like achievement and I need that thing,
And, you know, it's funny you mentioned that because I did have like all of my coworkers take the test. And like, it's interesting to see like, oh, wait, so me not telling you you're doing great makes you feel good? Like, you know,
Right.
like you want me to actually, you know, and that's
Yes.
fine. Like, it's just like, oh, it like clicked in my head. Like, not everyone, like everyone needs something different in order to feel good about themselves. And I love it.
I know. It's so fun. You know, and it's easy for us to like get in our own, like what we would want.
Yeah.
You know? So like, it's, you know, like
Yeah.
Laura's like what are you, a 2? A 2-wing 1. And so she's like very like nurturing and caring
Right.
and then also very organized, and that is not me at all. You
Right.
know? And so like, it's just fun to like see the different personalities.
Yeah, and like I have another coworker who kind of does more of the behind the scenes stuff for us online, and she's always one like for like 2 years that she worked for us. I was like, oh, you're such the mother of the group. You're the mother of the group, but she's the one that remembers the birthdays and like you know like, and I'm always like so quick and head down working
Same.
with people.
Yeah.
Like I don't think about that being important to somebody when 100 like it can be for sure.
Oh yeah.
And so that's been really beneficial too, is just kind of let everyone go into the part of the business that they love to do. And then it ends up like everyone seems happier and everyone, I mean, we're successful with it, you know, so.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, I'm the same as you. I forgot about, what is it, Easter Friday? What is that called? The Friday? No.
Good Friday.
There we go. I forgot about Good Friday. Laura's just working away, and Jonathan's home. I'm like, why are you home?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he was like, it's Good Friday. I was like, Laura, I'm so sorry. I forgot to give you a holiday off. Because, like, you know,
Yeah.
I just don't think about it.
I know,
And I
I'm the
think
same
when
way.
you're the owner, too, like, it's just like Good Friday, like, is a great day for me to get things done.
Yeah, and it's
You
not
know?
like intentional. Like we're
Right.
not trying to like not be aware of certain things in your life, but it's also like that's something I'm having to be very
Work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I have to be very intentional with it.
I do too. I do
Yeah.
too. I have to be intentional. And I'm one of those people, like, one of my kids' birthdays was this month at school. And he wasn't it was Easter week, so he wasn't like in school. And I asked the teacher, I'm like, what day can I send cupcakes? Any day. Have I sent them yet? It's the end of April. And I'm like, crap, I've got to do this.
But it's still in your head.
Yes.
It's just not like
Yes. I'm
the
like,
same
oh
way.
my gosh. So what kind of help do you have around you as far as the business? Like what roles do you have in the business? And then also, what kind of help do you have at home too? Because I think that's important.
No, I'm just kidding. I have a very, very helpful husband. He's a great dad.
Yeah. And you said you had, like, before you came here, you had to clean the house so your cleaning ladies could come. So,
Yeah.
like, I feel like you have some help
Oh,
in
yeah,
other
for sure.
arenas, too.
For
you know?
sure.
So I'd love to
Yeah.
hear about that because I think that's important.
Yeah, so I have a cleaning lady. Like, it's something I never thought I would have, just because I never grew up with that.
Yeah.
And
Which surprises me. I thought for sure
oh no,
Jennifer would have been like, hey, somebody else come clean this.
no.
I think the culture's different.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My mom would have never done it either.
Yeah.
And my mom, like, worked 3 jobs. My dad was never home because
Yeah.
he was a truck driver,
Yeah.
and she needed it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean,
yeah.
not that our house was it was never messy, but, like, if
How much did she pour from her empty? Yeah.
And if looking back on it, I'm like, man, she would have been so much happier probably. And I don't know
Right.
how happy she was. I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, she would have been so much better off if she would have been able to do that.
Yeah,
But
for
that
sure.
wasn't, like, culturally acceptable.
Right.
then.
Yeah, that's a very true statement.
Yeah.
Like it was not something you did.
No, she still makes fun of me for having someone come clean my house. She's like, oh my gosh, you're too good to clean your own
Right,
house. I'm
yeah.
like, no, that's not it. I
Yeah.
just know what my priorities are.
Yes.
And they're my kids
And
and,
it's not
my
my
business.
house. Exactly.
Like-
We are the same person.
Yes. So anyway, continue. What kind of
So
help?
yeah, so I have a cleaning lady who is very sweet. She comes to my house and helps me just keep the toys where they need to go because that's the biggest thing right now.
Right.
And then with business wise, I have someone who kind of runs it when I'm not there, which is a lot because I have to be places all the time. I have someone behind the scenes who's helping with stuff on the like social media platforms. Because I try to get on stories every day,
Yes.
like Jessica Stansbury told me to.
always like, Kaitlin, I need to see your
I
face.
know. But she's good about keeping me on task with that too. And then I just have a wonderful team of girls who understand how Dad wants the business to run and don't get offended by it because it's just who he is. And then they also I try to have a meeting every month.
Okay,
just
cool.
to let my team know how awesome they're doing, because that's something I've learned is very important.
Yeah.
And then we kind of go over upcoming events and expectations when someone comes in, just like a refresher, because I think it is overwhelming, especially now during greenhouse season.
Yeah.
And I just like to let them know, we all have each other's back, and this is a team, and not one person is going to ever make it happen alone. So,
and I think that's important. Just this morning, Laura and I were talking about an employee handbook, or possibly having an employee retreat eventually. I mean, she's my only employee right now, but later, you know, once there's more. And I think it's really important to cultivate the culture that you want. People want to work there.
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be hard days, and there's going to be personality conflicts and things like that. But I feel like anytime you can do things to cultivate a culture where people are I'm happy at work, they're going to stay and they're going to be successful. And you're going to be more successful because you have a good team behind you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So are all your employees full-time, some part-time?
No, we have some part-time employees. And that's something I kind of ask that, of course, they'll come in and let us know if they want to be part-time or full-time. But one thing I try to do is if someone requests a day off, I do try to give them that day off because one, you don't have to tell me you need a mental health day, but,
right.
if you need this day off, you can have this day off.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to work if they don't want to work,
Right.
They don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be good for anyone if they are working and they don't want to work that day. So
that's
something I try to do is just kind of, without being taken advantage of course, just because it's hard to run a business if you can't count on people to be there.
Don't show up.
Which it rarely happens.
Right.
But that's something else I'm becoming more aware of is making sure they're there when they want to be there.
Yeah. I mean,
and they want to be there a lot. So
right.
Thank
I think
you.
that's awesome. Thank you
so
guys.
much.
Thank you. So yeah, how does all of the business work together? So there's the farming side, and then there's the greenhouse side, and then there's the home side. So how do you make sure that everything kind of works together and the team? Because what I have noticed when I've been there is somebody who's working on the farm, or Josh or whatever, are in there but everybody always knows what they're doing. There's never a question of what should I be doing?
Yeah.
And it feels like it all works really well together.
It
Do
does.
you feel like that was your dad in the farm side, and then it just kind of carried over?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's surprising how well it does work because, and when I hire new employees, I'm like, just so you know, there's going to be a lot going on, and you're going to be helping out on each part of this. So it's just, I just try to get people to when they're working in the greenhouse, do your best to go around and become more aware of how things work out here. And then when you're working in the home store, I try not to stick someone new in a new area without a coworker there.
Right.
But it just comes down to everyone being a team and helping each other out and asking each other questions.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So would you do you like the ideas of a team retreat?
Yeah, we've actually been thinking about going to, what is that? It's where the Ark is, in Kentucky?
It's Kentucky somewhere, yeah.
We've actually, as a team, we're we should do this. I'm we should do this.
I think it's really important
Yes.
to get people outside of work and have real conversations with people, you know, and know what's going on with your employees. And I think sometimes it's hard to do in a work setting because you're go, 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 you know. But I think it's really, I've seen a lot of people doing team retreats recently. I guess once everybody started getting their vaccines and mask mandates are coming off and stuff, people are starting to feel more comfortable with it.
Right.
And I'm you know what, that is, I really want to make sure that that's something, because I feel like your team then knows you value them.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
And one thing we did it one time, but then greenhouse season got crazy. We're actually we want to start doing a game night on Tuesday night.
Oh, I love it.
We're going to lock the doors, and we have a table there, and we have Uno cards there, and I bought poker hats just because I'm crazy and silly, and just from 5 to 6 after we close, just to sit down together and play Uno.
I love
you
it.
know, and everybody was that's, we did it one time, and it was really fun.
That's something I've always liked about y'all too. So again, backstory. I've worked with you for several years, and like every year there's always like a company picnic or like company, let's go have like Easter dinner. And so I always like admire that about the culture, you know, is that you all are like in this together, and everybody's familiar with like where your family's cabin is and like what everybody likes to eat. And I just think it's a really cool thing to see, you know?
And I mean, I view all of my coworkers as family.
Right.
Like, they are part of the Smith family now. Like, it's just, I love that. I love that we do that. And I think it's important too, especially with mine and Dad's personalities, because when we're at work, it's head down, like, you know.
Yeah.
And it's important to make sure they know, like, you know, it's not intentional that we don't, like, pat you on the back.
Right,
you know?
right. Do you ever find, one last thing, do you ever find, like, it hard to find employees here?
Yes.
Because I feel like that's a struggle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm very picky.
Yeah, same.
Because it's the type of work we're in, it requires a lot of hard work, and it requires you to be very, I don't know what the word is, but like, when we're not there, you still need to be like...
Initiative. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you
the
need to
word.
take initiative.
Yeah, like, and it's, because we have a younger crowd here, and then we have an older crowd here, and it's kind of hard to find that.
Yeah.
But I'm also finding the importance of, you know, like I was saying, like building up on what they are good at.
Yeah.
You know, and using them for what they're good at, and
Yeah.
so they enjoy it and want to come to work.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's like setting expectations. And if the expectation is you have to have like self-drive and initiative to like get these things done. Like it's on you to get this done. You know what I mean? I think that sets the bar from the beginning, and then it's really easy for you as like a leader to be like, here, I'm going to come back to you and remind you again that this is important. And then if they don't do it again, that's when you can have like a tougher conversation, you know? Yeah. Which sucks, you know?
Yeah, that's the word. I'm not good at that part.
Yeah. I've never had to let go of an employee, but contractors I have. And it's hard because it's like,
oh, yeah.
You know, it's like,
and my personality is like, once I meet someone, I like tell them my whole life story. Same. Like I just like make that connection with them. Yeah. And so I do become friends, and like I was saying, family with all of my coworkers. And so when something negative happens, I struggle bus for real.
Yes.
Trying to like have a conversation that's not good.
I know. That's so hard. It's like having a conversation that's not good with like your best friend. Yeah. It's like really hard to do because you don't want to have that like friction. Yeah. You know? Yep. I don't know. I feel like this was a good conversation. Yes. I feel like this is a good conversation around like team building and cultivating a culture in your company. Because I think regardless, so like you have a retail store and a farm side and like all of this stuff, and like regardless of what your business model is, you need a company culture, and you need like, this is what we're really focused on, and like we want you to come in and we want you to work hard. And plus, also, we're going to play Uno on Tuesdays. You know, I think it's fun. So this is a great conversation. Yeah. Thank you for coming on here.
Yeah, this is great. Thank
you. If anybody listening is like, I need to know more about Third Day Market, which, by the way, y'all, they are based locally, but you can shop online.
www.thirddaymarket.com.
I love it. So if anybody is like, I need to know more about Kaitlin, all of that, where can they find you? Is the best place Instagram?
Yeah, I would go to Instagram for sure. Yeah.
For sure. And it's just Third Day Market.
Yep.
And Kaitlin is, for the most part, pretty good about stories anymore.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, I'm like, wow, I love that she's here. I've really
stepped my game up.
I'm proud of you.
And it's because I let go of some of the control.
Yes.
And now I have time to do what I need to do.
Yes. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jessica.
Bye.
Bye.